And this is Politics by Jake, and we're back. And I want to talk about religion somewhat. I was going to do this, but I ran out of time on about three shows, three or four shows where I said, quote unquote, if I have time, I'm going to talk about it. And I never did. So let's take some time now, more at the beginning of the show, so I do have enough time. And let me give you my point of view on this. I had a history professor when I went to Dean College. Dean is in Massachusetts. Great school. Highly recommend that you go there. And he spared no one's ears. And he was curmudgeonly, and he was tough. I mean, he was the guy who you would go to his history class, and then you had to go to a separate history lab. He was really, really something. And he spared no one's ears at all to declare that religion was the cause of just so much misery in the world. And so what did he mean by that? And in order to kind of, much could be said, but let's just go through a little exposition, not much, but let's just touch on some of the reasons why he might have said that. You know, not every single one, but religion or rulers using religion, this was the spark or the accelerant for a frightening number of wars. You have the Crusades and there were several of them, from 1096 to 1291. This was a series of holy wars, you'll excuse the expression, between Latin Christendom and Muslim states. Bloodbaths across the Middle East and Europe. You have the Albigensian Crusade, 1209 to 1229. This is like 20 years. It's the last 20 years. This is amazing. The Crusades lasted at least 250 years, 1096 to 1291. Just unbelievable. And the Albigensian Crusade was the Catholic Church wiping out something called the Cathar heresy in southern France, and it was a near genocide of the Cathars. You have the Hussite Wars, 1419 to 1434. Bohemia torn apart after Jan Hus's execution for heresy. You have the Wars of the Reformation in the 1500s and the 1600s. 2 centuries of wars. Europe split Protestant versus Catholic. The German Peasants' War, 1524 to 1525, is partly religious. It was partly social revolt. You have the French Wars of Religion, 1562 to 1598. Decades long. Catholics versus Huguenots. The St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre alone killed tens of thousands. And, you know, we don't have the time to go into these things except to enumerate them, so listen to them again and get the information and then look it up on the internet. That, you know, Wikipedia and other searches can do just as good a job of explaining it as I can. You have the Dutch Revolt. The Dutch Revolt lasted for 80 years, 1568 to 1648. Protestants versus Spanish Catholic monarchy. You have the 30 Years' War from 1618 to 1648. Now, this is a big one. Protestant and Catholic states in the Holy Roman Empire, which my history professor told me was neither holy nor Roman, up to 8 million dead. 8 million dead. You have the English Civil War, 1642 to 1651. Puritan Parliament versus Anglican monarchy. Religious fuel under the politics. You have the Salem witch trials in the United States, when it was not the United States. 1692 to 1693, not a war, but a miniature civil bloodletting in New England driven by religious paranoia. You have the partition of India in 1947, Hindu versus Muslim. Millions of people displaced, hundreds of thousands dead. You have the Lebanese Civil War, 1975 to 1990, Christians versus Muslims, tangled up with Cold War politics. You have Northern Ireland, the period known as the Troubles, the 60s to 1998, late 60s to 1998. So basically, 30 years. Protestant Unionists versus Catholic nationalists, religion entangled with politics and identity, and layered through most imperial wars, the Spanish conquests, the Ottoman expansions, and even the rhetoric of American colonists. Religion was either the banner or the excuse. So when it came time to create the United States, the Founding Fathers, you know, they knew all of this stuff, at least the stuff that had happened up to the point where they were alive. And they generally didn't want any melding, any coalescence at all.